What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Crossroads Podcast, your place to get the latest news, events, and discussion in the world of PlayStation, PC, and Xbox gaming. It's your boy, LeRon, back once again with Stoy and Andre in the house. What's up, dudes?
Hello.
How's it going?
Welcome back. It is a fine Tuesday night, my fellas. A lot of stuff's going down. I don't know if we're gonna really talk about a lot of stuff here because, like, the news isn't all that enthusiastic, but a lot of stuff has been going down just gaming wise. You guys doing all right?
I have a story for you guys actually that I wanted to tell, but I figured I'd wait for the podcast.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I'll try and make it brief. You guys obviously know about my whole 3060 thing that I was talking about.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, which by the way, that's some bullshit. Like, boo on Newegg, you know.
Hang on. So Friday, I called the carrier that was supposed to deliver it. They said that it said it was delivered. There's nothing they can do, and I was like, all right, cool, poo. Saturday, I actually sent them an email. I basically said, hey, this is my story. This is what happened. I'd like to speak to a manager or supervisor. Can you get back to me soon? I didn't hear anything. Sunday comes around. Sunday at 4:30 p.m. I'm in the kitchen making some food. Got my son beside me wanting chicken and fries, as always. My fiance opens the door to go do some laundry. Outside of my door is a Newegg box. She brings it in the house and she goes, babe, there's a box outside. I go, that isn't real. So I grab the box. I sit down on my table. I open the box. Sure as shit, there is a NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3060 graphics card in this box. I say this isn't real. She says it is real. I say, did you hear a knock? She goes, there was no knock. I just opened the front door and it was there. So I came upstairs, installed it in my computer, and now I have a 3060 in my computer.
And how much money did you spend?
I spent $649 and I got refunded $300 of that. So I basically
you got discount fucking graphics card.
I legitimately have no idea what happened, but I have my card. So.
Is it a Founders Edition or is it like a Gigabyte or an Asus?
Asus.
Okay, that is a RTX 3060 Asus. I'm just looking up because I don't remember the pricing right off the top of my head.
Well, congratulations! I'm glad you got it.
Thank you. I have no idea. I thought, like, she said maybe one of the neighbors grabbed it when it first got to my house, and I'm like, yeah, but it has my name on it. And she's like, yeah. Maybe they can't speak English. I'm like, but like, why would you take a package that's not yours? I don't know. I'm happy I have it.
Well, congrats.
The stress is gone. Yeah. So now
congrats. I can find someone else to sell my 2070 Ti, my 2080 Ti to now.
Yeah, for sure. Because if I didn't get this, I was gonna actually shoot you a text. But yeah, that's the story I want to share with you guys. And yeah, so moving forward,
I'm happy. You've got a 3060 now, and I have a 3080.
You always have to just one up me, don't you?
That wasn't. No, I was saying, like, we're both behind by a generation. We're both behind. Like, I was
you're
behind.
Still better.
I was behind by 2 generations. Going into the last weekend.
I was behind 3. So.
Well, that's good. Yeah. I'm happy, man. Like, you kind of stuck it to Newegg. Stop buying from them.
I don't know. I don't know what happened, but I have it. I tested it. I turned on Days Gone, and I just cranked up every graphic I could.
Nice.
And I was getting like 123 frames, and I was like, "Holy shit,
dude!
Wow,
dude!" I was playing Callisto Procol at 4K 60. I was oh man, I didn't know I needed this because I'd gotten so used to 4K 30 on the 2080 Ti. I was like, whoo, man.
Yeah. Crazy.
The boner of all boners. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no kidding.
Stoy, you're all quiet, man. Like
I'm still trying to work on this topic again.
Oh, okay, cool.
I want to be ready, and I don't know, whatever. I'll figure it out.
That's understandable. So
Man's
you know
just
what?
in his own world.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
Then you know what? Without too much delay, then Andre, why don't you lead us off on what are we playing for this week?
So I am playing on the Switch, Persona 5. Still in love with that game. Just chipping away. I finally got the battle pass done in Destiny. So I haven't officially shelved it, but this is pretty big for me. I actually canceled my pre-order for Lightfall.
Why?
For Destiny. Because
Why?
I don't want to.
I get it. You're getting ready for Monster Hunter. I get it.
Anything. I don't want to be stuck to that game. And if I buy the battle pass, I'll be stuck. And I'm like, well, fuck, I paid for it, so now I have to buy it. So I canceled the pre-order. I'm gonna just shelf the game because there's so many other things I want to play. I'll still play it on the side, but it's just for now. I kind of just have to just break up with the game for a bit. And you know, now that I have my graphics card, I want to play Dead Space. I won't lie, before when I had my 1070, I didn't even consider playing Hogwarts Legacy because I didn't know if I could play it. But now that I have this, I actually watched the gameplay trailer, and my god, that game looks incredible. Looks phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to that. But as of right now, Days Gone and Persona 5. Just to kind of tie me over until this Friday.
Okay.
And then,
so all right. So what's your progress like in Days Gone? Wait, is this your? Did you beat the game? This is like your second play.
no.
Oh,
Third,
you've never played third. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I've never beaten it.
Aha. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So how's this third run treating you?
I'm kind of just there's a lot of things I've learned, and now I'm not really walking through the game. I'm more like sprinting through it. Mm-hmm. Only until the part that I stopped at. Until then, it's full sprint, and then when I get to the part that I stopped at, I'll walk and I'll enjoy the flowers and enjoy the scenery.
Mm-hmm.
Did you meet Schizo yet?
Yes, my second playthrough I did. Fuck Schizo.
Well, let me tell you, there's very rarely an enemy in video games that really gets under my fucking skin.
I hate Schizo.
And Schizo, like the moment I met him, I was like, I'm gonna hate this guy. And every time he keeps talking, I'm just like, God, I hate you more.
I hate I hoped that the progress I made, I'd have to kill him, but I don't know what happens because I didn't get that far. But I'm
I wish I could tell you. I just wish I could tell you.
I'm like, if I ever get the chance to shoot you in the head, Schizo, I will not hesitate.
because like it's just he just like comes off as like a cocky, arrogant little dipshit, you know, and it's just like it's like part of you is like, you know, you're probably right, but you're going about it like as a you're going about it like a dick. Like a dick.
Yeah.
Like an asshole.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and he just dresses and talks and acts like some wannabe white rapper dude. And I'm like
he's Fred Durst. He's Fred Durst in a nutshell.
Yeah. I'm like, I want to kick you in the teeth. You know that?
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, like I said, there's not a lot of video game villains out there that I'm calling him a villain.
That you emotionally just don't like.
Yeah. It's like every time I see him, it's like, oh God, this fucking guy again. Yeah. That's him.
I want to skip the cutscene, but I don't because I want to know what happens, but I don't want you there.
No, it's like you have to sit through it. Like
for sure.
You have to sit through it because it's like it just feeds into that anger.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta feed that. You gotta feed that anger.
Yeah, feed the beast. Feed the beast.
Because oh God.
Yeah, Schizo is not cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for me, I beat Callisto Protocol this weekend.
He did it.
Yeah. I gotta say, you know, the story was actually very satisfying for me. It really was.
How was killing my favorite person, Sam Witwer?
You know what? I enjoyed beating the fuck out of his ass because he was a brutal boss fight.
I hate you.
He was a brutal. Okay, whatever.
They changed him. They changed our boy.
God, why would they do that to
They
me?
changed
Well,
him. Why would they
hold
do
on.
that to Sam Witwer?
Hold on,
I don't know.
hold on, just to stoke Andre's flame just a little bit. He was nicknamed the Alpha by the end of the game. so there.
That's not. That's okay. Okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, Sam Witwer is the alpha.
He's an alpha male.
Easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, you know, the story did a good job. Like they did a good job, like setting up like the lore and the scenario, especially when you combine that with the lore, especially when you combine that with the Callisto Procol Helix Station podcast that was on Spotify and stuff like that. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and you know, like I understand now why some people were complaining about things, but you know what? I will be honest with you. I never really had a problem with enemy management. You know, if anything, I had to worry about times when there was a boss fight happening and I would get jumped by a lesser minion. That was the only time I really had any real problems as far as like combat goes. But overall, it was a good game. It was a good game. And
That's good.
Looking at like the Metacritic scores and all that stuff, I understand why it turned out the way it did. And that's just a lesson learned for like Striking Distance, Glenn Schofield, and Crafton. This was their first. It's wild to me because PUBG has been out for like forever, and this is their first major release. Since PUBG. And it's just wild to me that it's like you guys didn't try to develop any other games in the interim before the Callisto Protocol, and this is where you threw all your chips at. Like it.
Why
PUBG and then Callisto.
PUBG makes them too much money.
PUBG makes them too much money,
That
and
is true.
It was a game. It was a game that was also an alpha for like forever, though. Like just like how Hades was an alpha before it eventually, got a final release and stuff like that. I'm not saying that Hades is in the same caliber because I feel like Hades will always be a better game than PUBG.
Well, those are two totally different games.
Oh well, that too. But
So.
I mean, just the weight of each individual game and stuff like that. If I had it my way, I'm a COD Warzone guy before I'll ever be a PUBG guy or a Fortnite guy.
Well, PUBG also has like all the big streamers playing it and backing it up, right? So that's why it could have been a bit more popular.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but ultimately, I'm looking forward to a sequel if a sequel's in the cards for this game because I swear, like some I don't know, like you listen to the news sometimes about this game, and we're actually going to talk about this a little bit later in the show too. But you actually listen to the news about this game, and you got to wonder if the writing's on the wall sometimes for like when shit like this goes wrong for games and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, we're going to talk about that later too, like when shit goes wrong for games. But yeah, so the Callisto Protocol, and now I'm back on my Monster Hunter bullshit because I have a lot of content to catch up on, especially given that like a whole new wave of gamers are going to be showing up, by the end of the week, into the Monster Hunter. But yeah, that's everything I've been playing. Story, your turn.
I beat Plague Tale Requiem.
Oh, how was it?
A couple nights ago. Man, I wish I could change my game of the year.
Oh, really?
The last half of that game was just a fucking roller coaster.
Oh, really?
Amicia.
Oh, that game.
Yeah, Amicia. I almost think is like is probably the best heroine of 2022.
So you're saying this would, now that you've played and fulfilled this, like it actually trumps your Horizon Forbidden West.
I mean, I kind of do. Like I like Horizon Forbidden West because of the lore. And I did give nods to like Aloy's progression as a character because I'm a big character guy. Like I want my characters to progress. I want my characters to learn. I want my characters to have flaws. I want my characters to kind of get put through the ringer. Aloy kind of got put through the ringer, meaning she got put in her place quite a few times because she would let her arrogance kind of show through. And, a lot of times she would get humbled a little bit in battle or humbled by certain scenarios where, her friends would come over and be like, hey, you can't do this alone. You need help. Andre?
So I Googled what the game is. I've seen the game. Can you just kind of give me a brief synopsis? Like, do you control rats in this game? Is that what I'm...
Yes and no. So
Okay.
basically, the synopsis, because this is a sequel, the synopsis is that your family is during the Justinian era of France, and it's during the 100 Years' War at the time, and
Okay.
I think it's like I want to say 1300s, 1500s.
Okay. And are you the girl or boy?
You're the girl.
He's like, okay.
So basically, the boy has this
Mhm.
power to summon rats. And it's like this plague is going on during the 100 Years War, and they're
Mhm.
like, obviously fictionalized. It's all these rats are coming in and just like decimating towns, villages, cities, stuff like that.
Eating people. Yeah.
Yeah, so to speak. And part of the game is you have to navigate around the rat hordes, and that requires like lighting fires, lighting torches, setting some of the rats on fire so you could carve paths through the sea of rats and stuff.
Ugh.
As the game progresses, if you have a phobia for rats, you don't play this game. Don't. As you progress, you come to find that Hugo, your little brother, is sick with this disease that's going to kill him because he's getting more attuned to this rat plague, and you come to find out, that it's kind of slowly killing him unless he assimilates. So the second game is kind of like you find out a little bit more lore about him, where he's
Mhm.
not the first of his kind. There was others
interesting.
before him. So you kind of try to. Amicia is like the protector, so to speak, because in the lore of this disease, there is the young son, the young kid, the young boy that has this power, and then he has a protector because people want to weaponize his power. He can control rats that can decimate cities, almost like like a pestilence. So
Okay, so this is basically Joel and Ellie.
yeah,
Okay.
so kind of. The problem is that people are trying to go after Hugo, the brother, to weaponize him. So you have the Inquisition, and then you have the Order. The Inquisition was in the first one where they were trying to weaponize his power, and then the Order is like this kind of like sect, this cult of like hundreds of years that worship the coming of the Child of Embers, so to speak. So I'm delving a little bit into spoiler territory, but that's the last half of the game where it really starts to go to the rails in terms of like story content and just Amicia being tested and tested and tested, and she goes through hell. She goes through hell to protect her little brother, and she will kill anybody that stands in her way. And I really love to see a lot of those moments where she was struggling hard, like dislocated shoulder, getting stabbed with arrows and knives, and just like,
my.
man, she got put through the ringer, but that did not slow her down for a second. I just loved
sick.
I loved seeing
Wow.
it. I loved seeing that progression. And I think
So
I think her
basically-
character's story was more compelling to me than Aloy's.
So basically,
Aloy
she
was
given
already
a-
Aloy was already gifted with these. Aloy was already gifted with the powers, and she has this innate ability to like obviously control the robots and stuff. But like Amicia, her character, she has to fight through a lot just to get by, just to protect her younger brother.
All right, I was gonna say, so basically she's getting the hell kicked out of her, just like Lara Croft was in the Tomb Raider reboots.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
But she never wavered for a second, and the ending was really good. Like I want to say it concludes the series, if there ever was a series. I could see them ending it there and just moving on to the next project. But I mean, definitely don't. If you're into a really good character story, don't miss this. Don't miss this game. And for God's sakes, put it in French. Like when I would listen to the English voice acting, I would swap back and forth. Man, it sound. All credit to the actors doing their part, but French, I think they did it so much better.
You know what? I'll play it in French, but the first time I hear a croissant, I'm out.
They don't say croissant in there. They don't say croissant, but I'm starting to kind of pick up a little bit of. I mean, I took French in high school, so I recognized some phrases like d'accord, which means I understand, or oui means yes.
Oui.
But
I am a sucker for a really good character driven story, so this does sound like something that I might have to consider.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. Obviously, the whole rats thing is like, I mean, apparently the developers said they could fit like 400,000 rats on the screen at a time. Yeah, and there's some of these moments where you're just like, how the fuck am I gonna get through this? It's
just like a sea of rats.
Yeah, literally, it's a sea. So like you have to manipulate the
Jesus.
environment to navigate through some of those areas. So it's
gross.
Yeah.
Sounds so cool though, but gross.
Oh, it is, honestly. And you meet some, obviously you have Amicia and Hugo, the main characters, but like the supporting characters in the game, like Lucas, who's like another family friend, he's really good. There's other characters. I don't want to delve into spoiler territory, but like,
True. Okay, yeah, for sure.
Like they're just so well written and just so like they have something to bring to the story. It's like I'm a sucker for that stuff. Like you could give me a good story, but you could give me shit characters, and I could give two fucks less about them. But you give me, I mean, the story isn't the greatest. I mean, obviously they're trying to find what's causing Hugo's illness and if there's a way to fix it. Granted, it's not the greatest story, but it's like the characters that really kind of drive me to kind of keep going with it. So,
of course, yeah, for sure. But you get great story, great characters, you're fucking in.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
so,
yes.
and that's a hard balance to find
these days. Yeah, it's so hard to find a good both. So
yeah. So otherwise, I played and beat Vengeful Guardian Moonrider. That game is very short. I don't know. We talked about it last week where it was like the Shinobi clone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like basically Shinobi meets Mega Man.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Like you can hand select which levels to go to. You go to these, installations or these stations. You're a robot, you're a cybernetic ninja, whatever, and you go to this area and you fight through the level, and then you fight the end boss at the end, and then you get their special abilities at the end. So I'm pretty sure there was a way to use those special abilities. I'm pretty sure there's an order to it. I'd have to Google it because like Mega Man, there's always an order in how you fight the bosses. But I'm pretty sure there's one with this game that I honestly didn't use. I barely used the special abilities. I just used my sword. That was it. So I know I said it weird. I just like saying sword. But yeah, I just used my sword the whole time. It's a very short game, 2 hours long, but I loved it through and through. It's made for like, guys like me, in your 40s, remembering the kind of like era of like side-scrolling action, beat 'em ups or platformers of this nature. So that, and I'm back on Guardians of the Galaxy again. I started that game over.
Oh yeah,
it's on my list of games to beat. So
yeah, didn't you start that like a while ago?
Yeah, like a year and a half ago. So I jumped into it and I was like, I'm just gonna start over. So the game's really good. I mean, it's really good. Obviously the Guardians, good characters.
Okay, so before we move on, sorry, I googled that game that you were talking about, the Plague Tale. At one point, there is over 300,000 rats on screen at once.
Yep,
that's fucking insane.
Yep.
Oh my God. Sorry, I was so curious. I'm like, how many rats are on screen? And 300,000. That's, man, that's a lot.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, and this is made by just kind of like it's such a stellar looking game. Like it's just it really looks good. And like, it's not from like one of those big it's a AAA studio, but like, it's not from one of the big ones. Like this studio has kind of been coming out of the woodwork. I think they're based in France.
Oui.
Not Focus Entertainment. That's the publisher, I think. But I'd have to Google it. But like, man, looks amazing.
Cool. Anything else?
That's it.
All right, cool. All right, well then, hit us up over at PS_Crossroads. PS. I'm sorry, that's the old one. At Crossroads.
I'm still stuck in the past.
I know, right? At Crossroads_VGP for over on Twitter. Let us know what you guys what you all been playing out there. Give us some ideas and stuff like that. This is a stacked year, so like, it's going to be hard for us to get to everything, but give us ideas and stuff to add into our backlog because we always appreciate it. All right, we're going to go ahead and roll right into the notable games coming out. This is the new notable games section for the week of the 16th of January to the 22nd of of January. I almost said February. Wow.
You know what? I said that in my head too. I'm like, I don't know why I said February.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess the simple fact is, like, we're already halfway through the first month of the year, and it's wild how fast it's going. But let me just say this: Sims, RPGs, and Monster Hunter. Oh my! uh, the big early hitters just keep on coming for 2023 as Capcom ports the first portion of his more popular game to PlayStation 5, PS4, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. Here are your games for this week. Andre, you want to start us off?
Sure.
I'll tag in on some of this.
Okay, cool. So Monday, January 16th, we have Children of Silent Town, which I think we
Wait. No. That was a different game. A game that had a very similar name.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What game am I thinking of? Anyway,
I'm sorry. No. Oh, my bad. That is wrong. It's a burger game. Hold on. I'll pull it up. That is wrong. Go ahead and go to the next one.
Yeah, I was like, I swear that was last week.
I thought I edited that. My bad.
Okay. World War II Rebuilders, a sim. As a hero, you leave your house after World War II. In English campaign, you will travel to London and Gimbert train station to renovate it and start becoming the builder of the new world. Through the journey, you will collect resources and craft materials to flip houses, repair industrial buildings, roads and squares so the tenants could live in their homes happily again. Afterward, becoming a house builder for people who were awaiting for the roof over their heads, this builder sim game allows you to become a mechanic and operator of various machines like crane, bulldozer, Jeep cars, which will help you demolish ruins of houses, streets, and factories. Jesus, you were just from the ground up. Holy
dude!
cow.
I am watching this trailer. This is amazing.
I was gonna say, Stoy,
it looks
you
great.
would play.
No, honestly, like this is probably one of the more. I mean, every time you think of World War II, you think of like,
Call of Duty?
obviously, Call of Duty, or like just a first-person shooter, or even like real-time strategy games. But like this is like you
like
basically have to go into
era.
the war torn. You basically have to go into the war torn areas and rebuild them. Clean up the debris, clean up buildings, rebuild them, refinish them. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, now that you say
I'm putting it on my wish list.
I'm looking at the gameplay trailer. You do a lot in this game. Holy, you clean houses with a goddamn sponge. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Okay, so the one game that I said at the beginning, Burger Bistro Story, it's a cooking sim for the PC. Also, WW2 Rebuilder is for the PC as well. Tuesday, January the 17th, we got Farlanders, which is another sim. Holy shit, 3 sims in a row. Companies are colonizing Mars, and settlers are lining up for a chance to start anew. Play as a colony architect and utilize terraforming tech to create a new home for your colonists. Otherwise, you may find them packing for a rival base. That's for the PC. Number 2, January 17th, is Recall. It's an adventure game. Memories are... Is that...
Malleable.
Okay, that's what I thought. And changing them will modify the present. Tackle mind-bending puzzles that rely on altering your own recollections to shape the future. Did this game come out for the PS5, or am I thinking of a different? No, that's.
You're thinking of a different game, because right now it's only available on Xbox consoles and PC.
What the hell am I thinking of? I don't know. I'm sorry. That is for the Xbox family and PC. Wednesday, January 18th, in brackets, shoot 'em up day. Exclamation point. Wings of Blue Star, shoot 'em up. Protect space against the last wave of an enemy that used to be mankind's ally. Mysterious AI life form. Now isn't that just the realest thing? Take control of enhanced trainee pilot Aya. or the mysterious veteran pilot Zarok, and fight in order to save mankind and learn more about yourself and also about your enemy. PlayStation and Xbox family. Gray's
just a
Counter.
standard shmup.
Yeah, exactly.
Told you, shoot 'em
Gray's
up, mate.
Counter GM, another shoot 'em up. A refreshing and highly replayable, if you didn't hear me, bullet hell style shooter that wants, that's in cap, you to play dangerously. Ride the razor's edge of life and death in this high risk, high reward, danger orientated, arcade style shooting game. That is for the on all platforms, pardon me.
Why do they have like hot anime chicks as like some of the characters in this game? I don't understand.
Okay, hold on.
You know what? That's what these
hot anime characters. Hold on.
That's what these
Like,
that's what these J shooter games are nowadays. Like, you know, like the avatars.
What
are like,
game is it?
Gray's Counter GM, like the game you just talked about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's there they are. Okay.
All right. While Andre's like you know, like soaking all that in.
Hang on, wait. We got Satsuki Furuyama, she's a character, and then Hayate Katori, she's another character, and then Kiriko Kurasami, who has a katana blade for some reason. Oh, and there's
that's just
yeah, wow.
You get me and hot anime girls. It's a fucking party. Let me tell you.
Well, have fun with this one.
This is on the wish list. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
rolling into
okay.
Thursday, the 19th of January. This might as well be considered RPG Day because you've got Persona 3 Portable, as well as Persona 4 Golden coming out for PlayStation and Xbox, both alike. We've also got A Space for the Unbound, which is also an RPG game. In this game, you've got high school is ending and the world is ending with it. A Space for the Unbound is a slice of life adventure game with a beautiful pixel art set in the late 90s rural Indonesia that tells a story of overcoming anxiety, depression, and the relationship between a boy and a girl with supernatural powers. Follow two high school sweethearts, Atma and Raya, on a journey of self-discovery at the end of their high school years. When a mysterious supernatural power is suddenly unleashed, threatening their existence, they must explore and investigate their town to uncover hidden secrets, face the end of the world, and perhaps learn more about each other. Wow, this is so whimsical.
This is more of like a walking sim than an RPG. Because I
Really?
remember they showcased this on one of the Nintendo Indie Directs.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's weird because like just so for
Well,
listeners,
per my editorial that I wrote last week on BossRush.net, everything is a fucking RPG because every game has RPG mechanics in it. Therefore, every game's an RPG. So you're not wrong.
well, I mean, and just for some clarity out there, if anyone's wondering where I get like the updates for all the games that come out during the week, thanks to Stoy, like I go to releases.com to get this. So like whatever they classify these games as is usually what I throw in there as the genre or the subtype and stuff like that. But
where do you see RPG on here? That's what I'm kind of curious about. I see adventure, indie.
Is that what?
I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Okay, you know what? I've been doing a whole bunch of stuff today.
No worries. Like I said, everything is an RPG.
I'm in the process of editing another podcast, you know, and I'm recording this one. So sorry about that. But A Space for the Unbound is available across PlayStation, PC, and the Xbox family of consoles. Also, we've got Creature Lab, which is a sim game. It's another dad game, unfortunately, where you become a mad scientist, conduct crazy experiments, mix mutagens, breed abominable creatures, and attach monstrous body parts to them. Manage your inventory, expand your lab, and make sure your hideout is safe. Send your creations into the city to obtain salvage and test subjects. Woo! Mad scientists unite. Creature Lab is available on the PC. Also on Thursday we have Never Awake, which is an action shooter for the PlayStation, as well as Colossal Cave, which is an adventure game for PS5, PC, and Xbox Series X. Now then, fellas, gamers, Friday, January the 20th.
We have Monster Hunter Rise. Monster Hunter Rise is an action RPG that will smack you in the face and transfer players to the colorful you say this because I don't want to fuck this word up because I know if I will, it will upset you. Is it
Kamura.
Kamura Village on an all-new serene mountain locale that attracts visitors with its unique culture and innovative hunting. The various weapon types, all new hunting grounds await, including the ancient Shrine ruins and more. As players defeat monsters and progress through the game, items from fallen foes can be used to craft unique weapons and armor that will increase their chances of future success and survival. Hunters can tackle these challenges solo or call to the heavens and summon your friends. Up to 3 of you can fight in local or co-op online. This is the base game, Rise, Sunbreak, expansion, set for summer 2023. Thank you. I'm out.
Why did he go all William Shatner? Why?
I have no idea.
He wanted to do it justice because he knows you would love it. Did you love that? Did you love that, LeRon?
That was not scripted. That was the minute you said Friday. That was just off the dome. That was
just,
all.
He wanted to do your favorite series justice.
Just read my color commentary.
You should be thanking him. You should be thanking him.
Andre Wilson. Thank you.
Look, you are welcome. When I play with you, just carry me through everything. That's it. Put me on your shoulders and just run me through everything.
Well, you have a 3060 Ti now, so you should be playing on PC.
I will. Just run me through everything, and we'll call it even. Okay? So there you go.
Well, you know what? I don't even feel like talking about the rest of the week's games. Just know there's a game called the Megabot that's available on PlayStation and Xbox as a platformer, as well as the House of Dead remake finally makes its way to the PS5. And then you've got The Pioneers Surviving Desolation, which is a sim title. Basically, if you like what we talked about with the other game, Farlanders is basically the same concept, except this time you're on the distant moon of Io, which is a moon of Jupiter, for all you sci-fi nerds out there. And that's available on PC. Including what was mentioned in this bias in this segment, this week featured over 27 games released across all platforms. Remember, all release dates are subject to change, so the Crossroads crew is not responsible for any games that get delayed or canceled, and or both. It all depends. Go, Andre.
Just throw it out there. Dead Space, also Friday. I don't know why it's not even here.
No. Dead Space is 2 Fridays from now.
Oh, damn, it's 27th. Fuck, I keep thinking it's 20th. That's on me. Sorry.
You keep wanting Dead Space to happen soon.
Man.
You keep wanting it.
Don't play with my emotions like that.
Sorry, guys.
Do not.
That's on me, everyone.
No, that's genuine excitement, and I'm here for that. I'm here for that.
I'm amped for it too. Yo, that launch trailer. Oh my god.
Bro, hey, honestly, like, you don't understand how many times I've watched that Silent Hill 2 remake trailer.
I can guarantee this is how you wake up daily, coffee, sit down, watch, start the day. That's exactly how
100%. 100%. IGN put out an interview where they talked with Masahiro Ito, one of the creature designers of the Silent Hill series, who's back on this one. And they talked to Akira Yamaoka, and they talked about how they're developing the game. And I was like, oh my god, everything they said was amazing.
Jesus.
My favorite part is Masahiro Ito. If you know him, he's very vocal on Twitter, because people will comment to him on what the significant metaphors are in Silent Hill 2, and he'll come out and say no. And like, people will question him, and he's like, I made the fucking game. I know what the metaphors are.
They're like, you're wrong, and he's like, I'm not wrong.
Don't tell me what I made, you know? So like, he comes out and like calls people out. So like, in the video, he said, you know what I wish? He's like, I wish people would just wait for the game to come out. That's it.
Good.
I just wish instead of just all these people speculating. He's telling
people, you don't sit your ass down.
Yeah, just literally what he's saying in the most polite Japanese way. Because, you know, he's just like sits there and he's like, you know what? I wish you all would just shut the hell up. But he says it in a more polite way than that.
That's hilarious.
You gonna sit your ass down right now.
Yeah. He's like, you just need to shut the fuck up.
All right.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
All right.
basically.
All right, so that's everything that's coming out this week. We hope you enjoyed our colorful commentary here. Brought the Crossroads crew never leads you astray. Never, never, never. She's gonna come back. She's gonna come back with the biggest butcher knife out the kitchen.
I know.
I'm here for this
because that was uncalled for. That was uncalled for.
You might see a murder,
bro. Last week she gave you poutine.
I know, right?
She hand delivered poutine to you while you were recording a podcast.
I know, man.
Threw a sock at her.
You better kiss the ground that woman walks on, bro.
I mean, my relationship, my relationship with my boyfriend is solid, but he's not brought me food in the middle of a podcast yet.
He's not delivering you poutine in your podcast?
No, he's not.
It's not a poutine podcast, right? Jesus.
All right, let's go ahead and roll into the news for this week. It's still a stagnant time for news and stuff, and in the gaming sphere. So here we go. Starting off with
slowly getting there. The year's slowly getting there.
Oh yeah. I know. Like we're gonna get into sensory overload soon with all the games dropping, all this stuff. It's gonna be a hellacious year for us as gamers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But rolling this thing off, we need to talk about that Last of Us premiere on HBO Sunday.
Wow, I didn't know this. Oh, that's a big number.
Yeah, and how it raked in an estimated 4.7 million viewers. Now, you know what? The problem with this is it is skewed because guess what? Sunday night, my roommate, myself, and his girlfriend were all on the couch watching this. So I guarantee you that number is skewed and thrown off. But you know what? Good job. I will say that.
There's one scene in that show that almost broke me.
I think we all know what that scene is.
Homie, that scene, like I had my fiance beside me, she broke down immediately, and I was shaking, like I was like utterly shaking, and I had my eyes closed, my lip was quivering, and I was like, wow, holy.
I will say this, like, because I'm pretty sure I know what scene you're talking about. I will say this, like, the scene in the game didn't move me half as much as the scene did, like in an actual realized like format, like television.
Yeah, I think it was and for anyone that has seen it, there's a podcast that airs right after the show is done, hosted by Troy Baker, who voices Joel, and on it he has Neil Druckmann and someone else who made the show. I highly suggest you listen to that after every episode, because they go on about details you might have missed or things that they that you saw, but they go into better detail, and it's just called like HBO's The Last of Us. It's I can't recommend it enough. Stoy, I'm looking at you like I think once you're done watching it, go listen to that, and I think you'll get a kick out of it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I always like that. I always like those developer commentaries.
Yeah, same. All right, so the first episode of HBO's Last of Us was watched by 4.7 million viewers, making it the second biggest debut on the network since 2010's Boardwalk Empire. Only the debut of House of Dragon has been better.
Steve Buscemi.
During that same time frame, House of Dragon pulled in 9.986 million.
Damn! Holy!
You know what's wild about that? I have franchise fatigue for Game of Thrones, so I haven't even gotten it up to watch like the entire first season of House of Dragon. I
heard it's really good, actually.
I've heard it's really good too.
It's a really solid story.
My roommate is begging me to watch it, and I'm like, dude, I did a 10-year struggle with Game of Thrones. I can't go through it again. All right. Commenting on the HBO explained that the Sunday night viewership generally represents 20 to 40% of the show's total gross audience per episode. Oh. What up?
Sorry. It's Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin. That's who it is. It's Troy, Neil, and Craig. That's who it is.
Okay. Yeah. All right, I lost my place. Commenting on the achievement, producers Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann said, "Our focus was simply to make the best possible adaptation of this beloved story for as big an audience as we could. We are overjoyed to see how many fans, both old and new, have welcomed The Last of Us into their homes and their hearts. Casey Bloys, who's the chairman and CEO of HBO, then added his own thanks and looks forward to fans around the world enjoying the rest of the season. I'm gonna say this because I think we're doing a good job of not spoiling the show. So let's keep that momentum going. This show has something for everyone. People who have never heard anything about the game, for the gaming community that's played and loves the game and stuff like that. It's got something for everyone. Like you're gonna be sitting there, you're gonna be watching the episode, you're gonna be like, oh, I remember when they said that line in the game, and then you're gonna be like, oh, this is something.
That was me.
This is gonna be something. And there's gonna be people who are like, "Oh, this is something completely new." But I love how they found a way to get original content in there and make it gel with the actual established content from the gaming series and stuff like that. And I can't wait for it.
That meme of Leonardo DiCaprio where he goes, "Oh."
I did that.
That was me all Sunday. That was me. My friend was like, "Shut up!" I'm like,
Yeah,
I remember that from the video game. I remember that.
Yeah, last night, Dan, Stephanie, and we got together and we recorded a spoiler cast for that episode, which should be live Wednesday morning on the YouTube channel. But I was definitely like, yeah, I was doing I recognize that. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So it's a fantastic start for the TV series, which has another 8 episodes to run before a second season comes into play. And apparently there's word that season 2, which is supposed to cover the second game, is already being split into 2 seasons. So God. The second game is being split into 2 seasons. That's what I meant to say. Because I haven't played and beaten The Last of Us Part 2, but I've heard The Last of Us Part 2 is a longer game than Part 1 was.
Oh man, here we go again with the Team Ellie versus Team Abby bullshit again. I can't wait to go through that.
It's gonna be in full force again.
Yeah, and it's gonna be even bigger because obviously it's media. It's the TV media, so there's gonna be more people that are gonna be #Team Abby, #Team Ellie.
Yep.
Yeah. Twitter's just gonna be a battleground of Team Ellie versus Team Abby.
Yeah,
and, it's just. But
I remember those days when the game came out and everybody was Team Abby or Team Ellie,
or just happy the game is coming out, right? But
yeah. Or #Abby was right. That was my hashtag.
True. Hey, I'm there. I'm there with you. I didn't know they were coming out with this season 2 though, so this is new to me.
That's not surprising. You didn't know that?
It's not surprising. No. I didn't know that either, actually.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I just thought it was the original plan was it was going to be a 2-season show. Season 1 was going to be the entire first game, and season 2 was going to be the entire second game. But now it looks like they're splitting season 2 across. I'm splitting the second game across 2 seasons.
HBO chasing that money. They're like, yeah, we can milk this franchise. Let's make it 3 seasons.
Fuck it, let's go. I mean,
let's put that into 3 seasons.
You know what? Whatever Sony's master plan is, this is pretty legit because, number one, as far as an adaptation goes, this is one of the truest adaptations I've ever seen across any media, video game media, comic book media, book media. It's wild how this is so faithful to the show. There's not that much original licensing that's being taken by the producers and developers.
The original Mortal Kombat would like to enter the chat, please.
Greatest movie ever made.
Greatest movie ever made. Greatest video game movie ever made. Still to this day.
Hold on, because
Silent Hill is very close there.
The Silent Hill 1 movie?
Silent Hill, the first movie, yeah.
Yeah, the first movie was a jumble of the 3 games though. Come on, man.
What?
I'm pretty sure
it was a jumble of the 3 games?
Yeah, it was a jumble of Silent Hill 1, 2, and 3.
The second one was.
No, the
first one. The first one was pretty faithful to the first one.
We're not going to argue.
Andre, is this man trying to debate Silent Hill with me?
Are you about to tell me to sit the hell down? Are you about to tell me to take a seat?
I'm going to politely tell you to just kick back, relax in your chair that you're sitting in right now.
Any final words on The Last of Us? Story you haven't seen
Mom
yet.
And Dad, don't fight. God, I want to have a Christmas together.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's not about you, Andre.
I just want me and Penny to have a good Christmas. God, it's
Okay.
so hard.
All right, we're moving on. In our next topic, guess what? The January PlayStation Plus games are here for the Classics catalog as well as PlayStation Extra and Premium tiers. So Sony's 2023 PlayStation Plus. Wow, tongue tied. Seriously, this month's new releases.
Stop reading so fast.
This month's new releases, which feature some high caliber titles joining the rosters, including Back 4 Blood, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, and Life is Strange. The roster of games are now currently available for subscribers to the PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium tier. Wow, look at that. I even got to add more words in there that are not even on the script.
See? Why are you in a rush?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No one can see LeRon.
Yeah.
Except for the people who watch the actual recast of the show on Thursdays.
But live, it's only me and Stoy.
I don't know.
Yes, we judge you, but silently.
I will try to be better. Oh my god, I can change, y'all. I can change. All right. For the PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium game catalog, I already mentioned these, but you've got Back 4 Blood available for PS4 and PS5, as well as Dragon Ball Fighter. Is it Dragon Ball Fighters or Fighters Z? What is it?
Fighters Z.
That's what I thought.
I've heard people calling it Fighters.
Why do they run the Z? Why do they run the Z together though? I don't get it. But that's on
the Z Fighters.
But that's on PS4, and I don't understand that because I'm pretty sure that game is also backwards compatible for PS5. I'm pretty sure.
How can it be backwards? Wait. Say that over again.
It's backwards compatible for PS5.
How is that backwards compatible? That's forwards compatible.
You know what I mean.
I'm just trying to correct you.
Is
there such thing as forwards compatible? Does it have a PS5 upgrade?
It should be fracking playable on PS5.
Well, yeah, it is, but does it come with an upgrade?
That I don't know. Because
that's what I thought you were.
Because even though
that's what I thought you were referring to.
Because Dragon Ball Kakarot does have a PS5 upgrade, and that, if I'm not mistaken, that's Namco Bandai. I have to go get my copy because I have a physical copy of that game. All right, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, which is that's the ray trace game. We've also got Life is Strange Before the Storm for PS4, Life is Strange also for PS4, Jet the Far Shore for PS4 and PS5. Guys, I called this. Didn't I say this game was going to be on PlayStation Plus? Didn't I say this? I said this because this game didn't look like it was going to be much of anything, and then of course, like, it had disappointing sales when it came out and stuff like that. So of course, it's on PlayStation Plus. We've also got Just Cause 4 Reloaded for PS4 and PS5, as well as Omno for PS4 and Erica for PS4. For your premium classic titles, we have PS1 Siphon Filter 3, as well as Star Wars Demolition and Hot Shots Golf 2.
I've played all three of those, and Star Wars Demo still looks good. Like, I'm watching a gameplay trailer, it just still looks good.
Yep.
Maybe biased, but hey.
But the bad news is today, January 17th, 10 PS4 games are leaving the service. Those titles would be Bound by Flame, The Council, Electronic Superjoy, Enigmatis, The Ghost of Maple Creek. That is one game, not two games. That's one game. The Lost Tinker, City of Colors, Leo's Fortune, Masters of Anima. I've heard some good things about that game. Masters of Anima. Seasons After Fall, Shiness, The Lightning Kingdom, and Space Hulk Tactics. Another game I heard a lot of good things about.
Take my gamer card. I have heard literally none of these except Bound by Flame.
See, I hadn't heard of Bound by Flame.
Space Hulk Tactics.
I haven't heard of Bound by Flame. I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, I have that game. It's actually, I think, made by the developers of Plague Tale.
Oh, that's cool. January PlayStation Essential games are Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order for PS5 and PS4.
Sobo Studio. That's who made it.
Okay, cool.
Sorry.
That's all right. No, that's cool. Fallout 76 for PS4 and Axiom Verge 2 for PS5. Oh, that hurts. Well, actually, what am I thinking? These games aren't leaving. They're still available for people who have not got them yet off the store. They're available for subscribers to claim until February the 7th. So don't dawdle. Like, get your 3 games, add them to your library, and just move on about your business. Any final words on this topic?
No, ma'am.
I don't know how I feel about that.
You'll be okay.
I really don't know how I feel about that.
You'll be okay. Stoy, you'll be okay.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Just take it to the chin.
Yeah.
You're good.
All right. So next topic, the Callisto Protocol reportedly has not met publisher sales expectations.
Okay, stop. How do you guys feel about that? Since you guys have still played it,
They set their expectations way too fucking high.
Exactly.
Way too high.
There you go.
Well, no. Here's the thing about it. Like, I'm gonna say,
Hurry up, man.
I'm gonna say this before I even get into the story, into the actual news segment. Publishers need to stop doing this crap. You know, like, it's an untested IP. You know, like, you just can't always ride the name of, like, someone that, you know, was established somewhere else. Just like, so the fact that they want to have how many copies of this game sold?
5 million. 5 million copies
5
they
million.
were going for.
5 million. They want 5 million copies of the game sold, and apparently they pumped $162 million into this game. Which I know for sure not all 162 went into the development of that game. I guarantee you a nice sizable chunk of that went into.
Do you know God of War Ragnarok sold 5 million? And this game is nowhere near God of War Ragnarok.
Well, that's what I don't understand. Why do you think all these games have to be sold in the first month? Like, we have to look at lifetime sales of games, you know, and you know, because let's look at it this way, like, the expectations are too fucking crazy. Like, you know, like, people don't have money to spend on these fucking games, and of course, like, the big complaint now is like every game is going to be $70 now. You know, that's the big complaint. You know, stuff like that. They need to stop thinking that on day one, this game is going to sell 5 million, 7 million, 10 million, 15 million copies. They need to stop doing that because Monster Hunter Rise, including Sunbreak, it took 2 years for it to get past 10 million copies.
That's wild that they thought day of. Oh yeah, 5 million. We're easy. Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
5 million on an untested IP. You know, a month before the game that inspired this game is coming out. You know, come on, guys. You know,
I don't even think Dead Space pulled those numbers.
I don't think so.
Not right away. Not within the first quarter.
Yeah, not in the first. No, because no one knew what the hell Dead Space was. Just like no one really knew what the hell Callisto Protocol was. You know, and this
Let's
is me.
Just say, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and this is me who loves like this type of stuff. I love sci-fi horror. I do. You know, that's all.
And that's my thing. That's my thing because it's such a niche genre. Horror itself is a very niche genre. There's a small subset of people that love horror video games. Is that the majority of video gamers out there? No, absolutely not. Not by any stretch of the imagination. So for them to say 5 million, I mean, that I'm probably thinking like Glenn Goldfield was in the publishers meeting, like, yeah, we can sell 5 million copies easy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Just another day.
It's crazy, especially when you think the darling, especially when you think right now the running darling of horror games, Resident Evil 8, didn't even hit 5 million. It took a while for Resident Evil 8 to hit 5 million sold. And shit, like, I got that shit on a discount from the Humble Bundle, like a year and a half after it came out.
Yeah,
go ahead.
To say what we're all thinking, it's like, how, like, 5 million is a huge fucking number. Like, how do you expect
on the first month? Like, what are y'all thinking? Like, shit. Like, there's only
the first Dead Space, I think, within the first few months of its release, only sold 421,000 units.
Yeah, I don't even think did Dead Space even hit 1 million copies? Like, you know, before Dead Space 2 came out.
The game sold 2 million copies during its opening week.
What game?
But unfortunately, EA was disappointed in its commercial performance. Like,
we're talking about Dead Space 2, right?
Yeah, Dead Space 2 sold 2 million within the first week, which fine. That's obviously, you're riding on the coattails of, you know, the first game, which was a sleeper hit by all accounts. But this is where I'm like kind of thinking, like, it's horror is still, like I said, a niche genre. Like, you could look at it and be like, you know, okay, I love horror, so that must mean everybody loves horror, right? No, that doesn't mean that, you know?
You say FPS and you have the fucking world behind you, though.
Yeah.
Right? The horror, it's like, hey, does anyone love horror? And you may get like Joe and Bill and Bob in the back, like, oh yeah, horror is great. And everyone else is like, yeah, but
I
don't. Right?
Action RPG. Yeah. I'll get in on that.
Yeah,
5 million.
FPS, yeah, I'm here. Racing, yeah, right. Horror, I don't know.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's the problem. Like only a handful of games can expect to make like million plus copies. Opening weekend, first week, first month, stuff like that. Only a handful.
Yeah.
Like I can name 3 right now that are going to hit a million plus opening weekend. Final Fantasy 16, Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, and
Hogwarts.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I was like that wizard game.
The wizard game where you wave the wand. What's it called again?
So by all accounts, the math doesn't really add up. So they haven't even recouped half of their budget.
Yeah, because like I guarantee you, like 100, like a good chunk of that 162 million went to marketing.
Yeah. Yeah,
big-
I mean,
I
and probably
guarantee-
like a third of it went to Josh Duhamel.
And Sam.
That
come
guy,
on.
that guy made a nice.
Sam Witwer's not on the level of Josh Duhamel yet.
Yeah, I hate it. Okay, you know what?
I'm just telling you, if Timothy Oliphant and Sam Witwer decide to make a video game,
yo.
Oh my god!
Listen.
Oh my god!
Take it.
Oh my god!
Yo.
Oh my god!
All right.
My heart's racing right now. Give me a second.
All right, so just to breeze through this real quickly, the Callisto Procol had $162 million budget. This caused because of the shortcomings in the game's overall performance in the first month. It's only been literally a month. It's been a month and 10 days since the game came out.
I mean, honestly, they should be happy with what they made. I just think like they should be, they just should be.
2 million copies is nothing.
They got to be realistic. Yeah.
2 million copies is nothing to sneeze at. I'm
no, definitely not.
Shit. Let me release a game and it hits 2 million copies after a month. I'm doing backflips. I'm doing backflips.
Let me make some content and it get 2 million in the first day. I'd be over the fucking moon. The fact that you guys wanted 5 but got 2 is still a W if you think about it.
Yeah.
They haven't like I said, they're still looking at trying to make that money back soon, but that's kind of the thing with video games these days and why it's still not the greatest because of you're not going to make your money back right away unless you're like a big established franchise.
Let me ask you guys a question. Because I heard this in one of the it wasn't so much an argument. It was more like a breakdown of like what could have gone wrong. Well, number one, like they feel a lot of people feel like the budget for this game was too high. Like I said, I don't know what the actual game development budget was versus the overall budget because I don't see any freaking game going over $100 million in the budget. For development costs. I don't.
That's kind of
unless
crazy.
Unless they're building all the assets from the ground up. Unless someone right now is building Unreal 6, right now, there is no way it's over $100 million in the budget, for a game to be developed on that. Why do you guys think that? What do you think is the driving force for why these games get such big ass budgets? Is it because of the acting talent that goes in there? Because you got motion capture, you got voice capture, you've got all that mapping and all that stuff. You've got texturizing, and you've got there's so many ridiculous things that go into it. But I feel like in this day and age right now, gaming should have been streamlined to the point where we're closer to 3 years in on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5's life cycle than we are to 2 anymore.
I just think it's because the way tech is moving forward at such a high pace these days, I feel like developers are having to sit down and be like, shit, how can we do this? And they are always trying to catch up with like new graphics cards or new systems or this and that. And then, like you said, to backpack off what you said, you got high actors. You got Josh Duhamel, Sam Witwer. You have XY. You have so many big names. Motion, actors.
You got sound engineers.
Voice,
you got people.
Sound. There's so much that they are working with, and I feel like they are trying to squish the competition and be better than this person and be better with that. And just also trying to still look good. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it does.
That's my take.
It does. Stoy, did you have anything to say on this?
Well, I mean, a lot of it comes down to it's all sales pitches. Like they don't get that money right away. I mean, they have to pitch it to the publishers.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about like Glenn Schofield and bringing in big name talent to the publishers to say, "Hey, we need money to make this game," and the publishers can kind of get starry eyed to say, "This is going to be a big game for us." You know, we're gonna shovel a bunch of money into it, and as we know, developers sometimes need extra money in the process as well. I mean, there's a whole business side to this that I have no concept of, but I know, it's not like you could just make a game for 3 years, 4 years with no funding. The
That's
funding
true.
has to come from has to come from somewhere, and that's the
Yeah.
publishers having faith in your product. And that's the problem is if your game does not succeed, that publisher is not going to sign you again.
Yeah.
Because the publisher's like a bank. If you don't pay back your loan, they're not going to do business with you ever again.
So there's almost like fear.
Yeah, there is. And that's kind of like if I was Glenn Schofield's, what was it? What's the name of their studio again?
Breaking Distance.
Breaking Distance. I'd be scared that they wouldn't have a chance to make a sequel.
Yeah.
Because this one performed.
That makes sense. Okay,
this one performed so poorly. Honestly, like we deserve a sequel because we deserve more content within this universe. But unless the publisher says, "Hey, you know what? We're going to give you half the budget,"
yeah.
But by all accounts, I hear Unreal Engine 5 is like supposed to be a game changer. For the video game industry. So I hope more developers are getting on that because it's supposed to really streamline game development. Like very much so because like now, who's that guy? Jeff Schreier?
Jason
Schreier. That was it. He made a comment where to say like video game development has become so bloated to the point that if you were to start developing a video game now, it wouldn't come out until the PS6 era. Like that's how long it takes sometimes for these video games. And that's why these budgets are going crazy because 20 years ago, $160 million budget was unheard of. Nowadays,
that's true.
Yeah. So like nowadays, hopefully we can streamline the process to be like, okay, every 2 to 3 years, you go from pre-production to full game release, 2 to 3 years max.
Yeah.
That's the wish. That's the dream. That's the hope.
That's the whole 9 yards.
I hope. I don't know.
All right. We kind of beat this topic to death, so we need to move on. I don't know. Like I guess you can tell like a couple of people in this conversation were passionate about this shit, but at the same time, it's also one of those situations where it's like where is this shit going wrong? And number one, like it had a bad rollout. That's the long and short of it. Apparently, like the best version to play it at the initial rollout was on the PS5. And then eventually the PC version, got patched and, fixed. And, like now it's a whole different beast for me, and stuff like that. For me, that I was playing on a PC and stuff like that. All right. So we're into the speedrun category, guys. And you know what? I'm starting to love this segment of the show. I like this fresh addition to it. So here it is. Here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quick things that you should be in the know about as far as what's going on in the gaming industry, but we don't have enough time to jump right into all of it. So starting off with number 1 of our speed run is Microsoft will reportedly receive an EU antitrust warning over the Activision Blizzard deal. Yeah, we're not done talking about this whole thing. We're not done. Following the news last December that the U.S. Federal Trade Commission announced plans to file a lawsuit in a bid to stop Microsoft's acquisition of Activision. Wow, that's a tongue twister. The EU is set to issue a charge sheet known as a statement of objections, setting out its concerns about the deal, according to Reuters. Microsoft said in the statement issued to Reuters that they're continuing to work with the European Commission to address any marketplace concerns. So keep your eye on that. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some big developments coming out on that. Number 2. Metal Gear Rising voice actor claims announcements in the coming weeks. Quentin Flynn, who's the voice actor who plays Raiden in the Metal Gear Solid games, has seemingly teased a video on Twitter that there may be new announcements related to the Konami series soon.
Hold up.
Okay.
No, sorry. Sorry.
Okay. It's not clear whether Flynn was referring to Metal Gear Rising 2, a Metal Gear event, or just new Metal Gear news in general. So keep your eye out for that. Number 3. A union has called for Ubisoft Paris workers. Union calls on Ubisoft Paris workers to strike after worrying CEO comments. So just hear me out on this one. The French trade union Solidaris Informatique, because I suck at French, has called on Ubisoft Paris workers to strike after the company delivered a worrying strategic update. Yves Guillemot, who is the CEO of Ubisoft.
That wasn't bad.
I've literally heard that name so many times I can't get it wrong now. Guillemot has been accused of shifting the blame for the company's troubles onto its employees. Tisk tisk tisk. Like this is how you wind up out of business. Like when you take it out on your workforce. But anyway, Guillemot reportedly told the staff the onus is on them to deliver on its latest targets and reverse the company's fortunes. Damn. Dude, wow.
I mean, he's right.
He is right.
He's right. I'm sorry. He's right. Because what has Ubisoft brought us over the last few years?
They've been dragging their ass,
broken promises.
More Assassin's Creed, more Assassin's Creed, more what's the other game that they Watch
They don't
Dogs.
have another game.
Watch
they don't
Dogs.
have another game. Watch Dogs is a failure. The Crew is a failure. Yeah. Mario and Raving Rabbids is a failure. Like, they're a whole and what they canceled projects like left and right just recently. Canceled 3 unannounced projects, and Skull and Bones is also delayed again for the umpteenth time.
I love
Come
it.
on!
I sense some anger.
I love Stoy's fire. I love it. It's animated Stoy, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, get your shit together. Like they put all this emphasis like a few years ago on like, we love open world role playing games. We love open world action games. Crew is open world. Ghost Recon, we want to make it open world. Assassin's Creed, what was that one? There was like some other open world game. They were banking on that hard. Didn't realize the games like that take 7 years to make. By today's standards. So all of a sudden now they're releasing a game every other year, unless it's Assassin's Creed, which they have like 18 studios working on concurrently. It's easy for them to do that, but even that franchise is kind of plateaued a bit.
Yep.
So
you're not wrong.
And he's not. No, he's not. In light of these recent events, the Ubisoft Paris section of tech-focused union Solidaris Informatique called on workers to stage a half-day strike on Friday, January 27th from 2 to 6 p.m. A half-day strike? Come on, y'all. Y'all half-assing this one.
We're just going to dip our toes in the water. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah, just like, hey, guys, it's 12 o'clock. Let's go back to work. All right.
We're gonna take a look.
Okay, guys, noon. Let's take an extended lunch for like 6 hours.
Just like
6 hour lunch.
Half-day strike. Come on now. Come on. You know what?
Come on, you guys are French. You guys have like started some of the biggest revolutions in fucking history. Come on.
You guys have some great bread.
Aren't they the main ones?
I want to see some people on the gallows. I want to see buildings burn.
Aren't they the main ones? Whenever they get inconvenienced, they always spit on the ground everybody walks on. I'm just saying. What was
it? There was like a recent, it was like a couple years ago. There was like a recent strike in Paris on the truckers union. They went at it. They went hard. Like they were shutting down mainline streets. They were building boundaries, protests. It was crazy.
Oh my God. That's
nuts. They went hard, and a lot of people were
that.
saying the French know how to fucking protest.
Well, they need to do better right here then. All right. Number 4, a 2-hour trial of The Last of Us Part 1 is now on PS Plus Premium. It's kind of a no-brainer. I'm surprised this wasn't already on here, but of course it all coincides with the show premiering this past Sunday. But regarding the PC port of the game, which I am waiting for, Sony recently confirmed that the PC version of The Last of Us Part 1 will be released on March 3rd of 2023 via Steam and Epic Games. I'm waiting for this, but I'm also now going to wait to play the game until after the 9-episode arc of the first season is done. Now I feel like it's a way to do it.
I would.
Yeah. In our last round for the speed run, Microsoft is reportedly set to announce thousands of layoffs this coming Wednesday. According to Skynet, Skynet. Oh, Skynet. The news network for Sky TV over in the UK. Okay, I was like Skynet. Don't break my brain like that. The latest round of layoffs at the U.S. technology giant could see it axe roughly 5% of its 220,000 person workforce, which would equate to some 11,000 jobs. Now, why is this number? This 11,000 number is striking to me because didn't Amazon just lay off 11,000 people?
It's one of those things. I really caution reading if this is an accurate number or not, because a lot of times I hear in the past events where people will say, well, a lot of those were like contract workers, or a lot of those were interns, or a lot of those were, kind of not they weren't like major employees, or a lot of them can be laid off, but they maybe can be shuffled into like other positions or other roles within the company. It just seems like clickbaity to like think like, oh, they're just laying off 11,000 people, and that means 11,000 people don't have jobs anymore.
I like your thinking on that.
The media sucks.
True, that is true.
Media can get bent.
Speaking of the media, Bloomberg is also reporting that Microsoft intends to cut jobs in a number of engineering divisions on Wednesday as well. While the scale of the cuts is unclear, a source said to be familiar with Microsoft's plans told the publication that the number of layoffs would be significantly greater than other rounds that were made by the company over the past year. So there it is. That's our run of that's our speed run. My bad.
That's the Barry Allen section of the pod.
Don't do that to me.
The Flash? No, come on.
All right. So just to give everyone out there a heads up, we'd love to hear your questions. If you have a question, we'd like to hear that you'd like to hear our thoughts and opinions on. Tweet us at crossroads_VGP or email us at crossroadspspod@gmail.com.
Yeah, Johnny, looking at you. All right, it's time. I found a new kid. His name's Johnny. Talking to you, Timmy. We're cool.
Johnny, we're not cool.
Johnny, I'm looking at you, Johnny. All right, it's time.
Johnny's gonna get his older sister Beth to meet you on the playground.
Yeah, basically, I'm gonna deal with Beth pretty soon.
So it just to go back in 2019, the President Macron of France was going to be like, hey, I'm going to reform the pension system. I'm going to fuck your guys' pay when you guys retire. And the entire nation of France is like, no, you fucking won't. So literally it shut down the Eiffel Tower. It shut down streets. It shut down hospitals. It shut down the rail system. Yeah, it shut down tourism. It completed. That meant a reduction of 30% of flight reduction in and out of France.
Oof.
Like, they were like, streets were eerily quiet. Businesses were completely shut down because people literally protested. Like, I think it was like almost 300,000 people in Paris alone participating. And, so it was, French know how to fucking do it, man.
Man, this guy said, what's up?
Yeah. So he backpedaled on that a little bit. He's like, okay, take it easy.
France.
Yeah. This guy said something, and the entirety of France put the dick on the table and said, "What's up? What's up?" And he's like, "All right, I'm sorry."
France, the personification of fuck around and find out.
Yeah, the more you find out, the more you fuck around.
Unless you're German, then hey, take it easy.
Yeah. Like, hey, easy.
Hey, easy. Yeah. You want the Eiffel Tower? You can have it. It's okay. We don't like it.
You can have it. We don't need it.
Arc de Triomphe.
Yeah, basically.
Arc de Triomphe. Go ahead, take it.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and roll into the big topic of the show. All right. So, I understand I caused you guys a whole bunch of like turmoil with this topic. I'm sorry. Maybe I should have been more eloquent with my words.
Yeah, you were yelling at us too. I don't get why. You were like, Stoy,
get it done.
You weren't speaking in English.
Yeah. You're like, Stoy, get it done right now. Andre, shut up and write this. And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. And you're like, go, hurry up. Let's go.
Your paper better be on my desk by 3 p.m. No excuses.
All right.
Okay. So right now we're going to talk about when is it the time to worry about a game or a gaming service or a gaming series, I should say. Now, because I did cause some confusion amongst my compatriots here, let me just go ahead and explain real quickly. Have you ever been following closely, the progress of a game, like as it's in development, and then something just crosses you the wrong way, and you realize, oh shit, this game's in trouble.
A
Yeah.
red flag, essentially.
Like a red flag or the bat signal goes up or whatever you want to call it.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, because I mean, let's be real about this for a second. Video games is a serious multi-billion-dollar industry. Analysts predict that the global gaming market is set to reach $256.97 billion by the year 2025. The console gaming market grew to surpass last year. It grew to surpass $72.67 billion. And as gamers,
Sorry, we're entitled, quote, barely, to a sense of ownership about gaming in general.
Well, let's be real. Like we help make sure these games get made. Like they get developed. They get developed on the front end, and we make sure for lack of a better word, sometimes our $60-$70 is paying for them to finish develop the damn game. Because look how broken games come out now.
That's true. Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that bullshit. Look how games have long DLC cycles when they should not have had DLC cycle. Like we shouldn't be paying extra
I'm looking
money.
at you, GTA 5.
I'm looking at you, Rainbow Six Siege.
God.
Yeah, we shouldn't be paying extra money just because you guys need more time to finish your fucking game. We shouldn't, but that it is what it is, and it's a chicken and the egg situation because like we want the games to come out, but we don't want the games to come out broken, but we want the games to come out, so there's the problem.
I don't think that metaphor. I don't think you use that metaphor right. But anyway,
I think I did talk myself into a circle, but it's a weird night. Let's just put
it's
it that way.
you know what I bet you meant to say. I bet you meant to say put the cart before the horse.
Yeah, that works better. I
used that phrase recently because as gamers, we want to put the cart before the horse. We want the game to come out. We don't give a fuck how it gets to us.
Right.
But then it's just one of those things.
I care.
Gamers, quote unquote, don't realize what goes into producing and making a game.
Mm-hmm. And shit, they need to produce and develop a podcast, and then they might have a bit of an understanding. All right, so when a game is a smash hit, everyone, that includes gamers, developers, publishers, even the investors, are satisfied. When a game is terrible, gamers and developers are always the main ones to suffer. So tonight, we're going to have a conversation about those instances where we, the gamers, knew it was time to worry about a game, a series, a service, or even gaming hardware. Rest in peace, Sega Dreamcast. All right, so since I kind of like sprung this topic on you guys, I will go ahead and we're going to talk. Each of us, we're going to try and mention 3 of our pet peeves or things that just basically like raise the hairs in the back of our neck and lets us know that something is not right in the gaming industry. So I'm gonna throw low hanging fruit out for this one. Review embargoes. For me, anytime I hear that there is a review embargo and no outlets can release or publish a game review until the day the game releases, I automatically have dread for a game. And I'm talking about games that are like hotly anticipated games because even though God of War Ragnarok had a review embargo, like we could pretty much trust that it was going to come out pretty well. We could trust that, But there are other games that had review embargoes. Like I'm just going to go ahead and throw myself on the sword here. Callisto Protocol, like a game that I was ranting and raving about. I still enjoyed the game. Like I just beat it, like as you heard in this podcast earlier. But at the same time, the fact that as we got closer to it, I started to hear things about the game. About the game for the review copies. Apparently, review copies went out 2 or 3 weeks early for this game, and then a major patch came out that basically made the review copies unplayable. So they had to be reassigned new review copies, and most outlets didn't get their second review copy until 2 days before the game came out. And guess what? They're still in embargo, so they couldn't even talk about the stuff that they had encountered the first time. Because there was a promise that the stuff was going to get fixed and all that stuff, and then the game releases in December, first week of December, and it's a mess. it's a mess. And we've got Schofield, doing a social media campaign saying, "Oh, well, what happened is like one line of code got in there bad and screwed up the entire thing for everybody." I'm like, "Oh, so you telling me one line of code screwed shader caches from happening in the PC version?"
Basically.
That's kind of weird when shader cache is kind of a thing that's kind of expected, in PC gaming, stuff like that. But yeah, like I've seen where games like like games I've been super excited for have a review embargo tacked to them, and I just knew it was gonna be a watch. Like quite a few Assassin's Creed games, like Unity had a review embargo, and look, and that's one of the most mean games in history.
That's too bad because I mean that game was fine. That game was fine.
Are you being?
Well,
are you- are you
I
being
liken
facetious?
to Cyberpunk. I liken Cyberpunk 2077. The review copies that went out were all PC
Yeah,
copies.
yeah,
Nobody was given a console copy.
yeah. The console reviews came what 1 or 2 days before.
Yeah, and by the time those reviews actually went up, then all of a sudden that's when people started changing their overall scores because all of a
Yeah.
sudden CD Projekt Red is like, we didn't know these problems were occurring in this game. None of these came through when we play tested the game. Like,
But
what
what had
really?
happened was,
See, what had happened is that we didn't see this all came out of nowhere.
yeah. I mean, so yeah, it's just one of those things. Like Mass Effect Andromeda had a review embargo. Remember that story?
Yeah.
And look,
I still would have bought it anyway. I
Yeah, I bought it day one too. I had it pre-ordered the moment the game was announced.
Yeah, I was like, I don't care, whatever. Most reviewers are bullshit anyway. Like honestly, like
I was like, I don't care, and then I did care.
I don't care about your personal opinion. I don't care about because that's all reviews are. They're your goddamn personal opinion.
That's
That's
true.
it.
That is true. But you know what? Like I said, review embargoes now is my Geiger counter for how well a game probably is or is not now. Because like if there's a review embargo out there, and we're not talking about a game like Final Fantasy 16 or Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom or God of War Ragnarok or what else? What are some other like super like Horizon Forbidden West? What are some other super titles that
I was gonna say, don't Nintendo games notoriously get
they
review
embargo
embargoed?
everything? They embargo everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like shit, Bayonetta 3 needed more time after its embargo, if you ask me.
It needed to be on another fucking system. That's what it needed.
yeah, for real.
They did do that game service. They
Yeah.
did that game a disservice putting it on the Switch.
Yep. But yeah, that's my number one pet peeve right there. And by number one, it doesn't mean like it's the highest one up there, but it's one of my pet peeves. Who wants to go next?
My pet peeve.
There was no way I was going to interrupt him.
I had this loaded. For me, when a game is coming out, it's going good, blah, blah, blah. And me and Stoy actually talked about this a bit. When a game is coming out and all of a fucking sudden, like a week before, they're like, hey, guess what? Battle Pass. And you're like, but I didn't even ask for one. And they're like, yeah, but you get a bunch of cool shit you can't get in-game unless you buy the Battle Pass. Here you go. And it's just like, but I don't know. I might be salty. I am so over Battle Passes. All they do is give you FOMO and just, if you buy it and then the game is pushed to the worst is when a game comes out that has a Battle Pass and then like a day after is a game you're really looking forward to and then you're sitting there like, I don't know what to do. I paid money for this one. I paid money for that one. But this one has a Battle Pass, which I paid more money for, so I have to play that one. And then you're just constantly like, I don't know what to do. I'm so tired of fucking Battle Passes because they don't do anyone any good unless you play that game religiously. Like, Stoy, you mentioned Suicide Squad is coming out with one. Why? I don't know. It gives you cool suits. Okay. But it's just, LeRon, you have something.
I just wanted to ask a question real quickly. Are we talking about battle passes that don't bring any substance to the game? Like they're like, we're not like, okay, we're talking about battle passes, not season passes, right?
Yeah, battle passes.
Okay. Yeah. I want to be sure. Well, I have this thing where I don't always buy like all this expansion content and stuff like that, So like, for example, like I did buy the Callisto Protocol, the deluxe edition, because like for $10 extra, I was guaranteed the season pass and stuff like that. That's not a battle pass for sure, but got me some bonus stuff, and it's supposed to be getting the unlocked content whenever they decide to release that, if they're going to release it now. Now I'm sitting here like, man, did I waste my money? It's only $10 though, in my opinion. It's only $10.
You're gonna play it when it comes out.
No, I was saying if it comes out.
See, that's my like, you're locking content behind a paywall, and it's not even meaningful content, because in the case of Suicide Squad, they said, oh, this is only cosmetic content. Yeah, but that doesn't make it any fucking better.
That's true.
You're locking useless cosmetic dress behind a paywall. That doesn't make it any better.
No, and half the time in games, people thrive for cosmetics. So why would you lock cosmetics, what people want, behind a paywall? It's like if you play Fortnite, COD, and say, I don't know, fucking Destiny. Those all three games have a battle pass. If you buy all three of those, you're sitting there like, I don't know what to do, because you have to play them because you spent X amount. That's $30 gone, right? That can be used for something else. But like Stoy said, if you're gonna put behind gun skins and cool shirts and a cool outfit for characters that don't need to be there, then why do it? It's
predatory. It's predatory. That's the reason why.
It's so annoying.
It's another way to squeeze more money out of you. And by all means, you could say like, "Oh, the battle pass is only $10 extra a month. You can afford that." You know, and it's just enough to squeeze that little fleshy part underneath your buttocks. Right in between your pee hole and your butthole. They squeeze and they say, it's only $10. Come on. You get a cool outfit. You get a cool gun skin. All your friends have the battle pass. Why don't you have the battle pass? FOMO is a good way to describe it. FOMO, like, that's a good way.
I guess I'm just built differently, because Monster Hunter has a ton of that and I don't ever buy it.
You're part of the problem. Oh, no. No, you said you never buy it?
Yeah,
you said you never buy it? Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I retract my statement.
Yeah, I mean, like there's a whole bunch of cosmetic ones. It's funny because like I feel like Rise is the first game that introduced like cosmetic stuff behind a paywall, and I was like, I'm sure as hell not paying for this shit. Some of it looks cool as hell.
Look at all those cool weapon skins you're missing, bro. Bro, you could get an eye patch for your character for an extra $10. Come on, man.
What's crazy?
Bro, your Palico can be Rush from Mega Man. Come on, man.
That's not behind the paywall. That's actually that's actual real DLC in the game.
What I overheard that from World, that it was behind a paywall initially.
It wasn't.
Okay, I heard differently.
It wasn't.
But whatever. Yeah. You're the Monster Hunter expert. I'm not me.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't get warm and fuzzies off this stuff. Yeah, like when a game's coming out, if there's the deluxe edition, I'll spend the $10 for it. It's not that big deal.
That's fair. I'll do that too. But I don't. Even if you don't want to call it Battle Pass, hiding stuff behind a paywall just sucks. Oh yeah, for real. Yeah, because like here's a prime example, and this is kind of what got me out of that shit real fast. Street Fighter Cross Tekken. There was a fiasco with that game because they announced the game and they announced that a season's pass was coming out, where you basically were unlocking. I want to say it was anywhere from 8 to 12 additional characters in the game and stuff like that. The game comes out, people start data mining the disc and find out that those characters are already on the disc that we spent $60 for initially, and Capcom was going to bilk us for $25 more.
Yeah, I remember
stuff
that.
Like that. That shit right there set me off. Set me off to the point where, guess what? Like, I stopped playing my Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and I did something unsavory for my Street Fighter Cross Tekken game on my PS Vita. Unsavory. That's how pissed I was.
That's crazy. But yeah, that's one of my topics is don't hide things. Don't hide things that don't need to be hid behind a paywall. Don't do it.
Yeah. Yep.
To keep this kind of topic going, one of mine is it's always kind of worrying for me when you announce DLC before your game is released.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
That's a good one.
It goes to show that your game is not complete,
right?
And that you're rushing it out the door, and you're just gonna say like, "Oh, we want to make this game better. This was our initial plan, but you know what? We're just gonna kind of push the other content that we want to put out aside for later. And, they still kind of come at you with the whole, like, if you just pay an extra $10 for a season pass, like Assassin's Creed is one of the biggest perpetrators of this like predatory practice where they're like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. There was like 4 or 5 like expansion passes. Like that's unnecessary. Put this shit in your game. Or if you find out like maybe this game is getting to be too big, split it into 2 or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like
plan a sequel.
Or, just maybe thin your content a bit. Assassin's Creed Valhalla was, I think, too big. They needed to slim that down a bit, but it goes to show that you have these throughout the development process, probably through pre-production, you plan out the roadmap. This is what we're going to have in the game. These are the mechanics. This is the story beats. These are the main events. These are the main missions, side missions, whatever. And then all of a sudden somebody comes in and says, hey, maybe through production of the game, they come to say, hey, wait a minute, we don't have enough time to do all this in the time frame we've been given by the publisher. Keep that in mind. We need to start cutting some of this content down and, maybe put it out as DLC. Case in point, Mass Effect Andromeda. We were supposed to find the Quarian Arc.
There was 2 there was 2 planned DLCs.
There was 2 planned DLCs, but the problem is that the game failed. EA forced them to rush the product out. So then they were like, okay, I guess we could put that content out as DLC. And then all of a sudden now we're left wondering like, well, what the fuck happened now? I mean, we got a book out of it.
That's the one.
Most gamers don't read, so it doesn't matter.
Shit. Okay, dude. That was a little harsh.
Whatever. You guys know my stance on that.
That's the one thing that always leaves me scratching my head. When they turn around and say, hey, like so-and-so is playing DLC for the game. And the first thing I sit there and I think is like, was it supposed to be in the game to begin with? Like
that's my concern because I know planning for DLC, it doesn't just like all of a sudden spontaneously come up.
Yeah.
Like you could come out to say like, hey, we could put this in the back burner like if we need it. But if it's like significant story content that really pushes the game's narrative forward, like imagine like what was it, Monster Hunter Rise? Wasn't that ending locked behind DLC? Like the true ending? One of them was.
Yes, you are so right. Okay, so when
like
Monster
the game
Hunter
came out and the ending didn't come out for months later.
This is the
bro.
very
What is that shit? What is that shit? Explain that to me, LeRon. Explain it to me.
Or do you want to keep talking?
I just want to pander to you.
Okay, all right. So I knew something was wrong with Monster Hunter Rise from the get-go because I bought it on the Switch. That should have been my first warning right there. I bought it on the damn Switch because it released on the Switch. And then I'm playing the game and I'm like, hold on, like Hunter Rank 7 is in-game content for this, but there's no Hunter. I can't make Hunter Rank 7. Like I beat every fucking mission and then they're like, oh yeah, like that won't get unlocked until like we push out this DLC, and it's like, what the fuck? So yeah, like people bought the game and they had to wait a whole month after the game to actually get the true ending for the game, for the base content. And I was like, come on now. And of course they learned from their mistakes because the PC version comes out, there's no cap. And now like PlayStation 5, PS4, Xbox Series X, and Xbox One versions are coming out, and there's no cap for that. There is a wait for Sunbreak. You have to wait until the summer for that, but no big deal there, It's weird. It's wild. I don't,
So yeah, that like hearing that kind of worries me a bit to where it's like, okay, the game's probably going to come out incomplete. And sometimes it comes to the point where I worry that we even get that DLC. It could be significant story content that all of a sudden, if the game performs poorly, like I have that fear with Callisto Protocol. They have this story content DLC planned, and it's like the publisher could just pull that plug and be like, no, you guys are done. Sorry.
I'm going to say this. I don't think this game is in jeopardy of losing its sequel. I am afraid though that this game now has like a looming shadow of like all the bad shit that happened to the first game, and that's going to affect how people go into the new game. Because how like we always say it, how we always say as gamers, like when we see a game and because sometimes we just don't have it in us to play the game right when it comes out, stuff like that. So we're like, I'll wait for a sale, and stuff like that. Now, because this game has so many fumbles, in its first iteration and stuff like that, when a sequel comes out, people are going to be like, oh, I'm waiting for a sale, Day one sales are like 40% less than what they should have been. Because this one game stumbled out the gate. Is it my turn again?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, actually, I kind of already hit this on the head. Lack of review copies for newly released games. Saints Row is a prime example of this. A Saints Row game that just came out. Lack of review copies. Also, Callisto Protocol also had this problem too. Lack of review copies. Cyberpunk had that problem too. But basically, whenever I hear people saying, like, "Hey, like we'd love to talk about the game, but we never got a review copy," and then you come to find out that like a AAA publisher, Square Enix, didn't give anybody anything. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I can't ask the question, but any more plainly. It's like, come on, guys. Like this wasn't hard. This wasn't hard. If your game is not ready, and I will reiterate this when I get to the final word of this topic. If your game is not ready, give us some transparency and say, hey, we're having problems with this game. We need to push it back, because like in this day and age, it's 2023 now. In this day and age now, most gamers can understand, like when a game is incomplete and needs more time, or a game is unpolished and needs more time. Hell, like we work from home most of the time now. Shit, we know what it's like to be up against a deadline and it's not ready.
Mm-hmm.
See, I disagree. I think if you announce a review game, like you're pushing back your release date, I think that spells bad news, and that spells lack of confidence from your fans and from the gamers to say, this game is going to turn out shit. I'm going to completely ignore it. That's why in the past I've said you should not announce a game's release date until it's maybe 3 to 5 months out.
Mm-hmm.
Don't announce a release date when it's damn good and ready.
Yeah, which I agree, and I respect that, But the problem is, like, we have to tell people that our stuff is coming out like 7 years in advance. It's like like I'll use this example that's not video game related. We knew Avatar 2 was coming out for like 10 years.
Yeah,
I'm glad the movie's doing well. I really am, because like it really could have went the opposite way, after but gamers get blue ball sometimes, hearing about like freaking games, 5 years in development before they're ready to come out and stuff like that. Look at all the Zelda fans right now with Tears of the Kingdom. Look at all the Kingdom Hearts fans of Kingdom Hearts 3, and that's another story by itself.
That's been a game that I've been sipping on that bottle forever.
A game that took 12 years to come out. Jesus Christ. I think I'm exaggerating with that 12 years, but it is what it is. Andre, go.
One thing for me. Sorry. So my second thing is when you're hyped for a game and it gets delayed. Like, all right, fine, no big deal. Oh wait, year goes by. This is the year. It gets delayed again, and you're like, all right, fine. You know what? Fine. Year goes by. You're like, this is the year. I'm doing it. Yeah, and it gets delayed again, and you're like, okay, listen.
Multiple delays. I get
Dragon Age 4 for me. Dragon Age 4 for me.
Let's hold on a little
bit.
Wait.
How many delays has Dragon Age 4 gotten? Stoy.
It hasn't really gotten delays. They just never announced a release date.
Yeah.
They just talked about it and they said, yeah, we're making Dragon Age 4. Look, here's a trailer. Look, here's a trailer. Look, here's a trailer. Do we have a release date? Nope.
Yeah. Yeah. Andre's kind of hitting my topic, my next topic, because games stuck in development hell and stuff like that. Let me ask you guys a question real fast. Like, how many delays do you give a game that you want to get before you turn around and say, you know what, I'm not even worried about it now? Because usually for me, when a game, when a game gets, sometimes I'm even lenient. If it gets two delays, if a game I really wanted, I'll be like, okay, I'll see what's up. If a game gets a third delay though, like a game that I really absolutely truly want, like for example, if Andromeda had 3 delays, I would have already been like, nope, I'm not doing this. I think Andromeda only got 1 delay though, and that was the crazy part.
Yeah, I think it did. It wasn't that much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they were experimenting too much. Like they wasted a lot of time developing a completely different game. Like They made the game, I think, in like 14 months.
Yeah.
From start to finish.
Damn. Wow.
Yeah.
Because they were experimenting with an experimental game design, and then all of a sudden EA came down and said, no, you guys have to release a game in a year. And then they were like, well, fuck.
And they had to use
and they had to rush it.
And they had to use what was that engine they used? The engine that does not work for
Frostbite.
games that type. Frostbite, thank you.
Frostbite, yeah.
Frostbite's meant for first.
I mean, admittedly, they were a little bit more prepared because they struggled with Dragon Age Inquisition more than Mass Effect Andromeda, you know. Okay. But I really think kind of the problem was obviously the tech and the motion capture.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because they farmed it out. They farmed out the motion capture. They didn't do it in house.
Oh, interesting.
Anyway, Anyway, this isn't the Mass Effect Andromeda podcast.
Feels like it is though.
You keep bringing it up. It's your fault, LeRon.
Yeah,
and you know what happened.
You brought it up the 2 other times. Don't go there with me.
No, I didn't. Oh, I did once. I did one. I remember I did one.
Andre was 2, right? It was 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't bring me into this.
Well, you guys know, okay? Anytime someone mentions Mass Effect Andromeda, I get all heated.
It's either Silent Hill or Mass Effect.
He pushes the nerd glasses up. So what's the Andromeda?
Technically, they only made the game in 14 months because they were developing it.
Exactly.
They were developing it in the vein of like No Man's Sky.
It's the voice that just kills me. I
love when he does the nerd voice.
Just sends me. It's so funny.
All right, Stoy. What's your next one?
Calls for a boycott before a game is released.
Woo!
I love this. Yeah, I love this. This is more.
I'm
playing this game.
Now, this is more on the gamers. This is more on the gamers than it is on the actual developers. But this is a good one though because
you didn't like. I struggled the first half of this episode. I struggled to come up with.
No. This is good because like we've seen where this unnecessary pressure. Like we turn around, we get the final product, and it was like this doesn't even look like what they announced. Like what happened here? Like
that's not what I mean.
Oh,
that's not what I mean.
Okay,
let me tell you. Okay, what I mean by this is I'm going to use the example of Hogwarts Legacy and the ongoing loud cries to boycott this game just because J.K. Rowling's little Twitter comments that she made. All of a sudden now we have to like boycott this game because it's loosely attached to J.K. Rowling, even though she has literally zero to do with development of this game. There are hundreds of thousands of people working on this game and working on it passionately because they love the universe that J.K. Rowling made. Granted, maybe some of her comments weren't necessarily PC or were, maybe a little bit out there, but all in all, this is shaping up to be a great game, and it would be a shame that your calls for boycott because it hurts your personal feelings on a certain topic. You're almost like guilting people into not buying a game because it's like, wait a minute, I don't want to be a transphobe, so I don't want to buy this game. You're hurting people that could enjoy this game, and you're actually hurting the people that are developing this game. Go ahead, Andre.
So basically, I just want to understand what you're saying. You're saying people who boycott games because of IRL side story bullshit that doesn't even really need to be involved.
I'm going to bring up another example. When Call of Duty Infinite Warfare was announced.
Okay.
That was like set in space. We're talking like space combat, space first person shooter. Like that was one of the most the opening, the cinematic trailer was one of the most downvoted videos in history at the time this came out. And then I want to say like a couple weeks later, EA released a Battlefield trailer, and it was Battlefield 1 taking place in World War I. All of a sudden you had these like huge cries for people saying we should boycott Call of Duty because they're making a shit game, fuck this game, fuck space. Let's all go to Battlefield 1. And it's like these comments were hurtful to the point where it's like I couldn't imagine being a developer and just seeing like people shit on my work.
Yeah, that's fair.
And the problem, and here's the problem: Infinite Warfare was a good fucking game. Mm-hmm. It was a great game when it came out.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the single player campaign. I don't ever play these games multiplayer.
Both of them were good. Like the multiplayer had a very diverse campaign set, which actually paved the way for future content in Black Ops and other games. But
Who was
you
the bad
also
guy in that game?
the guy from Game of
Sorry, I
Thrones.
know.
That was Kevin Spacey's game, right?
Nope, that's Advanced Warfare.
Advanced
That's what I'm
Warfare.
thinking of. That's what I'm. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like Kevin. It's Kevin Spacey.
No. So
He's infinite.
the problem is that Hogwarts Legacy, by all accounts, is shaping up to be a great game, and we had the constant rhetoric of people shitting on it because of just one person's attachment to it is kind of, like I said, you're doing more harm than good, not only to the community of gamers, but also to the people working very hard on the game. Jon Snow, that's it. You're right.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Jon Snow.
I don't know his real name, but
Kit
Jon
Harington?
Snow. That guy.
Thank you.
There you go.
I was like, wait.
Hey, Conor McGregor was a boss in that game for a little bit.
Was he? I didn't know that.
Thank God he didn't fucking talk. Jesus.
That had been so funny.
Okay. Well, I already Andre's one kind of ran into what I was. But games,
Do you have anything to back off of it?
For what
For the games being delayed in hell.
It's kind of a slippery slope because sometimes you don't even realize the game is in development hell until like you've actually forgotten about it, and then it comes up in conversation a few years later. You know what I mean? Like for example, like Duke Nukem Forever. That wasn't even the original name of that game. And here it comes trotting out, and we come to find out that who Randy Pitchford like resurrected that game, right? And it still didn't do shit, right? Oh, but you know what? Honorable mention. Since I mentioned Randy Pitchford, don't show us some shit that does not wind up looking like the final product, like Aliens: Colonial Marines, like that E3. It wasn't E3 presentation. I'm sorry. It was he did it on his own. But even a better example, Ubisoft in that first Watch Dogs game, what they showed us E3. It was almost like a Photoshop version of the game.
Yeah, it really was. That's a good point.
Yeah,
that sounds bad.
Yeah, and you know what? I understand now. Because I work in the IT field. I understand back then. Like they were running the alpha copy off of a PC, so they had a souped up graphics card in it. As a matter of fact, I believe the game was powered by NVIDIA because like whenever I played the game on my PC, like it always had the NVIDIA logo. And I had an AMD graphics card back at the time. But yeah, still, now we kind of know that if a game looks way too good at E3 or Tokyo Game Show or whatnot, because Monster Hunter Rise looked fucking amazing in the early trailers. And I was like, man, this is the PC version.
Killzone 2.
Oh, yeah.
I remember Killzone 2 for the PS3, yes. That first trailer that dropped, that was cinematically filmed entirely in first person.
Yo, didn't
and
it look
when
like...
developers were asked, is this actual gameplay? They said yes.
That shit looked like it had ray tracing in it.
Like we're like, no way, this is gameplay, and Guerrilla Games was like, no, that's gameplay. That's gameplay. And
we promise it's gameplay.
You're lying to our faces. We know it. There's no way the technology has made it this far. Jesus.
Yeah. So yeah, that's an honorable mention for me. You guys still have a couple more, don't y'all?
I still have one.
This one's gonna hurt. This one's gonna hurt. But I'm looking at you, The Last of Us. This one's gonna hurt. But why do games need a remake or remaster, even though it doesn't need one? And again, this hurts because I love that game so much. But us three have talked about it. When the fact that it got the remake or the remaster, it's like, was it needed? And we talked about this. And I personally don't think it was needed. That's just my opinion.
I will do you one better, brah. Did we even need a damn sequel to The Last of Us to begin with?
Yes.
Oh, yes. No, we didn't. No, we didn't.
Okay, whoa.
Okay, let's revert back to, Andre. We're not going to go there.
I'm sorry. Sorry. I would love to have one episode of Crossroads where we're not all having a slugfest here. I'm sorry.
You stop saying the things that you're saying. Stop
hot
saying the
take.
things that you're
That was
saying.
That was a hot take.
Oh, y'all got me out here like I'm the verbal abuser.
LeRon's the one that's like saying like we don't need a Last of Us 2. Oh, guys, I wish we could be friends on this podcast. What the hell?
I'm gonna shut up.
LeRon,
Andre, you
LeRon,
have the floor. Andre, you have the floor. I'm gonna shut up.
kindly sit down, please.
Stand up and sit back down. Stand up and sit back down. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
But yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's okay. Hug. But yeah, it's just like I don't know why it needed it. I love the game, but it's like, yeah, the graphics look better, but it's like it's the same fucking game. Like why? Like why?
Really, yeah. I'm 100% with you on
we're
this.
talking about the remaster right now, right? Because we sure as hell are talking about
Which remaster? Which remaster? There's 2 remasters for that game.
Whatever one is brand new. Like why was it needed?
They had to change the name. They called it Part 1.
Yeah, I don't know whatever brand new one is out. That's how much I just don't care. But it's like, for God's sakes, just we know it's a great game. We all, the world knows that. But it's like, did it really need the pixie dust sprinkle on it? No, it didn't. But that's just me. Okay, that's me. When games remake the same game 5 bazillion times and just like change the graphics.
You mean like Resident Evil 4? I'm sorry, I'll shut up.
That's only one time that they did it. But we're talking like a 20-year-old game. There's there could be kind of a difference. Like, granted, sometimes I could think to myself, like, okay, all right,
I'm ready.
I agree. Sometimes
now I'm ready for the show to be over.
I'm gonna back you up here. That sometimes it can be a little bit too much. Me personally, I think they should have left Resident Evil 4 alone. It doesn't mean I'm not excited for the remake because I'm excited to jump back into the universe. Me personally, I think the original Resident Evil 2 is better than the remake because I have fonder memories for it. But, sometimes when you take a 20, 30-year-old game and they give it a fresh coat of paint for a new audience, it could be better. But if we're talking like in this situation, The Last of Us, where it came out on the PS3, they remastered it for the PS4, and then they remastered it again for the PS5. Yes, I said it twice because apparently they did more this time around. That gets to be a little bit too much.
Yeah, that is kind of what I'm talking about.
I don't think you guys understood what happened. I have it in my PS5 right now, and it looks like a completely different fucking game. It does not look like they just upscaled this shit to like from like 720 to 1080. It does not look like that.
I believe it.
Yeah, then like I'm not knocking it, but my question is like, was it needed?
I understand that. Okay, and that I can definitely jump on and say it was not needed. I can say that.
Yeah, and to backpack off what you said about RE4, if I could be completely honest, I would have loved for RE4 to be a one system game, and then years later to the present day remake it, and then have that whole gap where it's like, man, I wish the game would get a fresh coat of paint. Boom, present day, it's getting a brand new fresh coat of paint, and you're even more hyped.
Yeah.
Here's my misgiving.
I understand what you're saying about that.
Here's my misgiving about Resident Evil 4. It's been on every goddamn system since it's been launched. Every system. And if they could put it on the Game Boy Advance, they would have put it on the fucking Game Boy Advance.
And that is what I'm saying is if you just left it on one system, right? And then the years go by, it gets dust. It's just that game, and then the present year today, we know of the remake coming out. It would just make it more hyped instead of back in the day. It was on every goddamn system. You could play it on anything, right? But if they just left it to one thing and then waited the X amount and then remastered it, it would have made, I personally think, a bigger impact. But my whole question is I understand The Last of Us maybe looks better, plays better, sounds better, but my question is, was it needed?
No, it wasn't needed.
No.
It wasn't needed. It wasn't needed. I'm objective enough.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying.
I think he's thinking.
I was just, and I say it's not needed, and I'm objective enough to back that up.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy that you have it, but again, it's like,
Actually, I don't have it. That's my
really
room. That's actually I don't have it. That's my roommate's copy. He just left it in my system, and I
You're
confiscated
a liar, then. You're a liar.
It's in my possession. That's all that fucking matters.
That doesn't mean it's yours.
Yeah.
Possession is 9/10 of the law. I learned that from what was it? Aladdin? Was that it?
You're that neighbor that borrows the rake and I have to borrow it back from you. You're that neighbor.
Oh boy.
All right, Stoy, do you have a third one or? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This one's kind of a I don't know. This is probably going to be exclusive to me, but I was reading a recent article about the majority of video game sales in 2022 were digital format, and the number was 94%. So what that leads me to believe is that video game developers and publishers are looking at this, and they're saying if 6% of the people are buying games digitally, what's the point in making physical copies of these games? Mm-hmm. And that's where doom and gloom apocalyptic me is thinking that we're going to see the downfall of video games because we're going to start to see, we've seen it before with like a few games where all of a sudden they get delisted and all of a sudden become unplayable. Like tomorrow, for example, tomorrow is the last day that Google Stadia will be in service. And there's a couple exclusive games on the Google Stadia service. One of them that I played, which is called Guilt, that's not going to be playable, period. Now, granted, the developers are working on an actual physical copy of this game so that they can actually still preserve it. But that's my fear of an all digital universe. It's a little bit different with movies because it's just like, I mean, so many people rip movies and it's like, you don't have to tie it to a system or anything like that. With video games, it's different. Video game developers and publishers can just take a game off the platform and that's it. It's fucking gone. So that's my worry about all digital universe, especially with video games. Because I'm a physical guy. I like to collect physical copies of games. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, not to mention the existence of steelbooks, which I believe you told me when we first met that you collect.
Yeah, I collect steelbooks.
Yeah, so it's like if digital is the way to go, people like you, like, what's going to happen moving forward, right?
Yeah. And granted, thankfully, there's companies out there like Limited Run, Strictly Limited. I think there's some other companies out there that are like taking digital games and making physical copies of them. But I mean, that's only going to increase the market like substantially because these copies are going to be rare. There's not going to be a lot of print. So we're talking like a $60 digital game that you buy, or you could pay some dipshit seller on eBay $180 for that same copy because they upsell the price of it. And that's my problem with the secondhand market, which don't get me started on that.
Oh, please do. I'm just
kidding. I don't know. I straddle the line about physical versus digital because like I'm one of those people where like I detest clutter and sometimes that's all this shit becomes.
That's why you got to build yourself a fancy shelf, dude.
And then what? Wait for your house to burn down?
Don't burn your house down. Simple. Yeah, don't burn your house down. Don't be an idiot.
Turn off the oven at night.
Why I have to think of everything on this podcast? Jesus Christ.
God.
Maybe you do.
LeRon, get your shit together.
Get your shit together, put it all in a bag, and put it on the wall and display it.
Do you know how much Star Wars stuff is in that closet? There's a plethora of things in there, okay? Plethora.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, as people, we inherently collect things. Like, it's just natural. We're all fucking pack rats, And granted, some people are worse than others. But
yeah, you got Funkos, statues, feet, whatever.
Yeah. What was that last one?
What? I don't know. Let's continue.
Okay. All right. Okay. Moving on. But yeah,
2 hours, 2 hours and 3 minutes. There's a clip.
Anyway, so but yeah, like people inherently collect, so I think that's going to take up a significant. I mean, by all accounts, the numbers don't lie. 94% of people buy digital games, and I just think people like me, the minority, are just going to be out of luck.
I think it's gonna.
Yeah, it is.
I think the number's gonna. I think the number's gonna shift back. It probably won't be like a seismic shift, but I think it's gonna shift back. Like we've got a pandemic, and like for the last year and a half, like people were actually like doing their due diligence to try and not be around a whole bunch of people, which meant like it's a lot easier. Like there were a lot of shut-ins. I know people who were shut-ins, and there's a lot of people who was like, you know what, the marketplace is there. I'm just gonna buy the fucking game, so I don't have to go out there, risk getting sick, or risk seeing stupid people out there fighting because like I want to wear my mask and they don't, and then they take offense to that shit. Like there's all sorts of factors in it. I think the physical games market is not going that fast. Like maybe by the year 2029, maybe it'll be a different, ball of wax. But I don't know.
I think we're going to see it with the next generation hardware. I think they're literally going to be, there's going to be no
start
disc
making
versions.
diskless systems.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the way. They're just going to say, the numbers don't lie. No one's buying physical copies of games anymore. Everything's going to be digital.
Let's be real. Let's be real though. Like that shit that winds up in a landfill anyway. Come on. We gotta do better.
I'm with you. I'm not confident. I'm with you.
I just think that
you lost your train of thought.
I did.
Like I said, if it was my world, every game would have a physical copy because I'm about game preservation. I'm about preserving your game, preserving your product in a physical form, so that if there's a chance that I want to play that game, I don't have to try to look on the store, search the store to find it. We see this with digital storefronts shutting down all the time. PlayStation Vita. You saw how that shitstorm went when they tried to shut down the Vita store and the PSP store. Mm-hmm. The Nintendo Wii U and the Nintendo 3DS, they're shutting down their stores, and there's a lot of games locked onto those. This is the argument. This is the argument why we need physical copies of games. So it's either up to the publishers or the developers to say we should really consider this a long-term strategy, like we're talking real long-term, or we need to kind of like take video game preservation a little bit seriously.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it back. Another thing with physical is, say if like you're waiting in a line with some homies, some friends, or you're pulling like an all-nighter, God forbid, to like get a game. There's like, when you see a physical game or you have one, there's almost like a moment of time built into that where it's like, I waited with my friends in the rain for fucking 4 hours for this game, right? Digital, you don't have that. It's
midnight releases. Midnight releases
were lit. They were so fun,
dude. I went to pick up Modern Warfare 2 midnight release.
Call of Duty ones were always so fun,
bro. There's nothing like seeing the joy of some kid walking out of the store, or like even like an adult, grown ass adult, looking at the game and just the biggest smile on their face. You can't put that in digital form, man.
Yeah, and like sometimes that's how like clans or parties are formed in lines, because like, hey man, let's exchange phone numbers. I'll hit you up.
Exchange gamer tags.
Yeah, right. So like that. Hey,
what's your gamer tag, bro?
Here comes LeRon the Cynic soaring down from Mount Olympus to say, as someone who worked in GameStop for 10 years and had to endure midnight releases and stuff, I give zero fucks about it.
Okay,
bro, I did too.
I will wake up at 9:30 the next morning and take my ass to Best Buy and get the damn copy that's on the shelf.
Bro, I could tell you all sorts of stories about my Halo 3 midnight release. All right, that was fun.
After this, I would love sometime to hear that, because that sounds like it'd be hell.
Yeah. It involves Red Bull girls.
Okay, that sounds pretty lit.
Anyway.
Wow. But yeah, there's a moment burned into physical copies that when you look at it, you go, damn, I remember where I was when I got this game. So that's something that we would lose if it goes digital.
Wait, what? Y'all having like transcendental experiences when I'm just taking my ass to the mall and picking up a fucking copy of a game and going the fuck home? Like I'm literally
Hey, Red Bull girls, come on, that's a moment.
okay. Now that's something.
That's a moment.
That's something. Like I guarantee you, GameStop doesn't do that anymore.
No.
Let me
well, the ones down here, they don't. So
let me tell you, when I got made fun of by a GameStop manager a week after buying JoJo Siwa Worldwide Party and making the entire store laugh at me, you can't reproduce that in digital form. I made
God.
people's day because there's a grown ass man there that just bought JoJo Siwa Worldwide Party. Let's all laugh at him. You know,
the best game in the world, though.
I brought joy to millions of people that day.
That's our show for tonight. That's all.
That's how we end. That's how we end.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just being a jerk now. Any final words on this though?
No.
I think
apparently I'm done.
The cane came out, pulled him off stage.
Yeah, right. And done.
All right. Well,
you're done.
Ultimately, as gamers, we want games to succeed. We succeed. We want our games to succeed. We also want to be able to have our games whatever way we would like to have them, whether that be game preservation or like just a dedicated like spot on a digital storefront somewhere, things like that. We're the biggest cheerleaders of gaming, and a major thing that we ask of developers, publishers, and investors is just transparency. Like, a lot of hurt, turmoil, and disappointment can be dodged simply by devs, like letting the community know, like, what's going on with their games, things like that. Stuff like that. Honestly, trust me, like, a lot less hate and discontent will happen. Seriously. All right. Well, now all that's out the way. Now I can say that's our show for tonight. As always, we'd like to issue a big thank you to everyone that took the time to tune into the show. Don't forget, you can always check out our show Thursdays when it airs on youtube.com/exodus803. Just hang out over there and check out how to get in contact with us in the show notes. It'll all be there. And here are a few suggestions for your consideration over at bossrush.net that's going on right now. I know we've been beating The Last of Us to death here at the show, but our friend Mark Pereira asks, should you play the game before you watch a video game adaptation? Check it out in the January 17th edition of the Boss Rush banner. Also, I screwed up something. I really did.
When don't you?
Yeah.
For the course here.
Also, Corey, Stephanie, and myself, we've recorded the first episode of 2023 of the Boss Rush podcast, and we were discussing our top 10 games of 2023 and also determining the Boss Rush Media Game of the Year. That all goes down to episode 164 of the Boss Rush podcast. Go and check that out. And lastly, our boy Stoy thinks that RPGs are no longer a video game genre anymore. Do you agree with him? Check out his article, Role-Playing Game is No Longer a Genre. And after you've read his latest op-ed, hit us up at crossroads_VGP over on Twitter. Let us know what you think. Or slide into Stoy's DMs. Let him know how you really feel.
And just slide in hard. Just be like, listen!
It's not even that bad. Honest, it's not even that bad. Maybe it's a clickbaity title, but like, I think role-playing game is a mechanic, not a genre anymore.
I can just see that, like, the article title is that, and then they click it, and then when they open it, it just says "Get Good," and that's it. That's all.
Get good, bro.
Yeah, that's literally all it is.
All right,
Don't
for
forget
even
to
more,
smash that like button.
For real, yeah. For even more unique and interesting news and talk topics, swing on by bossrush.net and check out all the things our talented writers, content creators, and contributors are serving up on the site. If you'd like to keep the conversation going with us, you can find the Crossroads Video Game Podcast over at Twitter at crossroads_VGP. And if you enjoyed tonight's show, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as hitting the notification bell so you don't miss a new episode of the show when it airs. Also, over on the podcast side, please leave us a review. And if you really like us, a 5-star rating would be really swell. Everyone, this has been episode 107 of the Crossroads Podcast. We love you and appreciate you for hanging out with us during this episode. As a partner with the Boss Rush Network, go out there, play games, be better. Be nice to some of the developers out there. They're only doing what's trying to make us happy, stuff like that. So there's that. Please come back and join us for our next all new episode of the Crossroads Podcast, and have a wonderful rest of your day or night, depending on when you're listening to this. We love you.
Yeah, Johnny and Beth, looking at you.
We love you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.